first of all, my wife and I, that's us on the left there. That's Linda. We've been married for about 54 years now, and just got married right out of high school. And a few years back, about 30 years ago, actually, my wife was doing some typing out of our home here as a service, for other people, typing up papers for people in college and things like that. And we had a friend who had a durable medical equipment company. And he said, Linda, have you ever filed insurance claims? She said, well, no, but I'm sure I could learn how. He said, well, you just come into my office and I'll show you how easy it is. About a day later, she was doing his billing for Medicare, and it was on a typewriter. Of course, you have to look that up on Google now to find out what a typewriter is, but it was just an old mechanical device that she would type up those claims on 3-part forms, and then she would tear one off and put it in an envelope, address it to the insurance company, put a stamp on it, get it to the mailbox. And that's how we handled all of our billing back then. So here we are 28 years later. We've been teaching people how to do this and copying our success, basically. And now we have a cloud-based system that's powered by NextGen, who's, one of the biggest out there in the healthcare field, multi-billion-dollar company. Anyway, they power our software behind the scenes. I claim, as you see there in the little laptop illustration, and then the desktop is an EMRX, which is our electronic medical records. It also runs on tablets and iPads and phones and smartphones, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so you're doing medical billing for doctors using a cloud-based system. Now, here's what that means. It means you can set up a computer anywhere and connect it to any place that has an internet connection, and you've got connected to our system and can do the medical billing for doctors. It's just a wonderful system. You can give access to the doctor and the staff so that they can use our scheduler and use it for, seeing the patients on the electronic medical record in. Anyway, it's just a fantastic business to be in. And we're going to tell you a little bit about it today as we introduce our guest that's going to be kind of sharing with you how he got to where he's at in the business. We also have some ancillary services, as you can see pictured here, that allow you to also open doors with doctors who maybe they think their billing is under control. They don't think they need to outsource their billing. That's okay. We've got ways of sneaking in the door with these services, because all of these services save them money and make them money. So it's a great way to not only get in the door, but you make money on all these services as well. We do have, like I said, technology partners besides NextGen. You can see some others here on the screen. If you look all these up, take a screenshot of that if you want to and go look some of them up, and you'll see that we've partnered with some of the biggest folks out there in the healthcare field to offer those services to doctors. Again, those are all optional. You don't have to offer them, but if you do, you make money, the doctors make money or save money, and it's just a win-win for everybody. We've also won a lot of awards, like you see here on the screen, for our software, because it is one of the most user-friendly and yet highly technologically advanced systems that are out there today. So again, on these webinars, we don't have time to go into detail about all of these things, but you can certainly find out more on our website, which is at the bottom of every slide here. Just so you know who I am, if you go out to Amazon, you'll find that I've got 3 books out there that I've published. And few of the books that we have, we use for marketing purposes. And we'll talk about that middle one, the new Thriving Medical Practice, that I co-wrote with Dr. Vicki Rackner a little bit later. I'm also on the editorial board of Billing and Coding Advantage magazine. This is an in-print magazine. Yes, they actually print it and mail it. There's over 40,000 subscribers, so it's just about everybody that's in the industry in billing and coding that are a part of that. I have articles in that, of course, on a regular basis also. I'm also a co-founder of an organization called the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. MRMA.org is the website. You can go check that out, and you'll find that we've got a lot of leaders in the healthcare industry that are on our board of advisors. This is the organization, by the way, that you go through the training that we have. It's all online. It's all virtual. It's all through using Zoom. You can learn at your own pace, on your own schedule. And when you get through all 10 modules, each one about an hour and a half, with a live instructor, you and one other person, that's it. You are then certified by MRMA to be a medical revenue manager. Certified Medical Revenue Manager, CMRM. And you can put that after your name on your business card. So in fact, there's the certificate showing that that's what you get when you get through the training there. All right, well, let's get started with our actual interview today with Jaye Beattie. Jaye, are you behind the scenes there still? We had him turn off his webcam just a little while ago so he wouldn't distract you with good looks. There you go.
Hi, Patrick.
Hey, and Jay's right there in his home office.
I am.
Where he works sometimes. He says he's semi-retired, even though he's been in this business a few months, and he's just he likes keeping it small, don't you?
I do. It's my preference, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, in a moment. But yeah, it works out good for me.
Yeah. So, Jaye, why don't you tell people a little bit about your background when you did first look into the business? Kind of explain what you did earlier about the fact that you looked on your own and you found us, and what you were doing at the time.
Yeah. So I was in the security industry for about 25 to 30 years. Worked for Branks and ADT, and pretty much for the most part of my career, I've been a sales and operations executive. So I ended up retiring. And after a while, when you're retired, you just don't know what to do. There's just too much time in your hands. I'm an avid golfer. I do play a lot of golf. There's only so much golf you can play. And there's only so many things you can fix up around the house. So I've run businesses for about 30, 40 years. And I figured, well, I'm going to look for something to keep me busy, not get into a full-time job again, because I didn't want to do that. But pretty much, look for a business that's going to keep me busy 15, 20 hours a week. I can make some extra play money for my wife and I, so we can do some things that we want to do. So I started looking for that type of business. And, Patrick, I've told you this story before. We went through probably about 20 to 25 different business models trying to find the right thing. I did have a checklist of things that, were important to me if I were to choose a business. So, I was very diligent in terms of following that checklist. But the business opportunity or business model that I was going to take on pretty much had to check all the boxes. So there was a lot of due diligence in terms of the search for that type of business, and happened to come across ABS. And I will tell you just a few of those check boxes were probably most important for me. Was it had to be a virtual remote type opportunity. I wanted to keep my operating costs at an extremely low level. As all of you who know how to run a business and manage P&Ls, you want to keep your operating costs low. And having a brick and mortar is automatically increasing your operating costs substantially. So having a virtual remote type of business is a benefit. I also wanted something that was recession proof. And any of us that we've all been through COVID, I didn't skip a beat in this business at all. I saw a lot of people struggling. A lot of my friends who did own their own business were challenged by it, but I didn't miss a beat at all through that. So it is a good recession-proof opportunity. I did not want employees, anybody who I utilize, and most of our technology partners obviously are going to provide the heavy lifting with a lot of things that we provide our clients. But if you choose to do the billing, or if you contract the billing out, I didn't want to hire employees. I wanted to be able to use contractors. So there's a lot of benefits in doing that. Those of you who know how to run a business know why. So this opportunity gave me that venue as well. So I could go on with all the checklists, but it was important for me that whatever business I was going to get into actually checked all the boxes. And when I came across ABS, I happened to come across it myself just through doing some investigation out through the internet. When I did my due diligence with ABS, basically all those boxes were checked. And I will tell you, it has come true to today. Everything that I thought it was going to be when I was told by ABS Patrick and all of his colleagues, everything has come through truthfully. And it was just a great opportunity. But I will tell you this, I was looking to dabble and make a few bucks here or there. The opportunity has afforded me to make the type of money I wasn't expecting to make. And honestly, Patrick, I work about 15, 20 hours a week. And I make a heck of a lot more money than I ever thought I was going to in this opportunity. So that was kind of a blessing in disguise, of what I found out that this opportunity is actually going to be able to provide to me. So coupled with everything that ABS does for us in terms of guidance and counseling and training and materials, it's like, I'm not going to use the word endless, but it's substantial enough that you don't have to know anything about medical billing. And quite frankly, I didn't know a thing about medical billing, which was the big question mark for me getting into this whole thing. It's like, am I really doing the right thing here?
Yeah.
But from your counsel, everybody else's counsel, and telling us you don't need to know medical billing, we'll help you with that and provide training. And there is enough counsel along the way. You pick it up, and the system, the processes, the training, you get acclimated to it, and you pick it up pretty quickly. So you don't have to have a medical billing background or experience. I'm a perfect example of that. And any of you can look me up in LinkedIn, you can see my background. There's no healthcare medical billing at all in my background. Great opportunity, and everything turned out to be exactly what I was expecting.
So we didn't lie too much. I mean, it's just a little bit of lies, I guess, that got you involved.
I still can't figure out if you did, but good job.
Oh, well, that's a fantastic story. There's not many businesses that you can claim, will give you a nice solid income with just a handful of clients. I'm just amazed when I talk to people. They say, "Look, how big can this thing get?" I said, "Well, I've got licensees who've got over 100 doctors, and then I've got some that have one or two, and they're thrilled with what they're making with just those two. They don't want to work that hard."
Yeah, and quite honestly, I mean, I've had. I could build my business more, but I am not in a position in my life. I told you this before too. I retired. I wanted to stay retired, but I'm kind of semi-retired right now. We kid around about that, but it's keeping me just busy enough that I can go play golf and do the things I want to do, and spend some time with my sons and my grandsons, and at the same time, keep myself busy at home and make some good money. So it's the perfect world right now. If I brought on more clients, the more clients you bring on, the more time investment you're going to be spending in the business. And I've got the right balance right now. So it's perfect.
Yeah, you can just keep it wherever you want to be,
Yeah.
income-wise. Didn't you say earlier, Jay, when we were talking, you said something about, it gotten to about where it was making you $5,000 or $6,000 a month? Does that sound right?
That was my goal. That's part of my checkbox. I want to make about $5-6 grand a month. You have some play money, right, to do some things with. But I can tell you, so it all depends upon the volume and the amount of collectible revenue that's happening with your providers. That dictates what you make. But I will tell you, since I started this, there hasn't been a year that I haven't made between $80,000 to $150,000, and I've got two providers. They're both specialists. They're both podiatrists, and I wasn't expecting to make that kind of money, but I happened to come across and bring on two providers as clients that are very, very good providers in what they do. So they do a lot of surgeries, which is good, right? That brings you a lot of money in. But I was very fortunate with the two clients that I brought on board, and that's a key.
Yes, the type of clients. That's right. You don't. You could sign up a chiropractor, but they're not going to bill that much to insurance and Medicare, and you'd have to bill a lot of volume. Whereas if they're surgeons, some of those surgeries could be $10,000, $15,000 each, I guess.
Yeah, I always use an example when I'm talking to prospective licensees and I do their due diligence calls, and they call on me to talk to about the opportunity. It's a work smart, not hard mentality. If you move in that direction, I always kind of use the example of primary care physicians versus specialists, right? You're probably submitting twice as many claims for primary care physicians as you do as specialists, and be able to make the same amount of money. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with working with primary care physicians because there's continuous repeat business, for that type of provider. But it's all about how much the claim amount is going to be when you submit it to insurance, and it's all about the procedure and that they follow or they do with their patients. Specialists have the ability. They're specialists. They have the ability to charge more for what they do, right? And to your point, if it's a surgeon, right, they're going to charge more for surgeries. It's just the way the medical game works. So,
Yeah.
it's always important to choose that right provider.
Do either of those podiatrists bill Medicare? Do you bill Medicare?
Oh yeah, both of them, podiatrists, right? So you're dealing with a lot of people who are in their elder ages. So
Right.
there is a lot of Medicare and quite frankly, Medicaid, right? Medicaid doesn't pay as much. But yeah, there is a lot of Medicare clients with podiatrists.
Yeah, you mentioned the COVID earlier. We've been through that for what the last seems like 10 years, but it's just really been 2, I think. And during that time, did you see the revenue drop for these doctors, or did it stay about the same?
No, it stayed about the same. So, one part about working in the healthcare industry, people are going to need healthcare. It doesn't matter what's happening around us.
Yeah.
You are going to have to get some type of care depending upon what's ailing you. You just can't let it go because it's going to get worse, right?
Right.
So you're going to have to go to the doctor. Now, a lot of doctors have changed to virtual or Zoom during the time of the pandemic. We're coming out. We've been out of that for quite some time. People are going back to office visits now. But even during that time, where there was a time where patients were seeing doctors remotely via Zoom, the chargeable amount didn't change with that patient. So the business continued. I didn't see much of a drop at all, Patrick, to answer your question. So,
well, and so that means your income didn't drop because you're charging a percentage of everything that you collect for those doctors.
Correct.
Does that fall in our range that we talk about when we first talked to you, Jay? Is it 5 to 8%, somewhere in there?
That's actually the perfect range, and I'm 60%. And my methodology is different to other licensees out there. I believe as your volume increases, your labor is going to increase, right? Because you're submitting more claims. Where I've seen a lot of licensees go down in their percentage of billing as the revenue increases with their clients, I go up. And I simply explain to my clients that there's more labor charges. So I have a tiered level, 6, 7, 8%, based on the number of claims submitted by the practice. And having that methodology, your client understands exactly why you charge the percentage that you do. It makes sense to them.
Yeah. Well, and so you're saying that even during the COVID, the last couple of years, you've been bringing in $80,000 to $150,000. That's based on, boy, these guys you must bill a lot for these guys. I mean, as far as the volume of dollars.
Well, yes and no. Of course, it does. It's based on 2 things. It's based on the number of claims submitted on a monthly basis, and it's all based on the type of procedure or percentage of surgeries. As you know, Patrick, the chargeable claim for surgery is in the thousands of dollars, where an office visit for a podiatrist can be anywhere between $200 to $400. So when you have a provider that does a lot of surgeries, that's a good thing for you, because the actual charge amount to the government or commercial payer is going to be substantially higher.
Oh yeah.
And you're collecting, your income is based on the percentage you're collecting of that chargeable surgery. So you can do the math. the surgery is $2,000 and you collect $2,000 for surgery and you're 7% of that, you make pretty good money off of one claim submitted.
Yeah.
So percentage of surgeries when you're talking to your providers, that's a good indicator for it. That's why that's in that practice analysis that, you know, we talked to all licensees about performing.
Yeah.
Most of my business consulting, I stopped doing that once I got into the ABS opportunity. Most of it right now is just consulting with my clients, and I don't charge it for it because it's a good client retention opportunity, right? But most of it's my clients.
Yeah, that's a great place to be in life. You can just, again, do what you enjoy doing, not necessarily what makes you the most money. Like you said, you could add more clients to your billing, but it's probably not as fun as consulting.
Well, consulting is basically word of mouth guidance and utilizing your expertise of things you've done for a long, long time in your career that you've gotten very good. I'm sure everyone's listening has that expertise as well in some fashion. But it's not going to make you the type of money that you know the ABS offers.
John, he says, how much time each week did you devote when you first started your business? You
Yeah,
said
that's a great question. I get that question a lot. So I'm going to try to tell you exactly what happened when I first got in. So I went through training. That's Patrick and I were talking about this earlier. Their training used to be on site. Benefit for me, I'm in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and Patrick's office is probably about 15 minutes, 20 minutes from me.
Yeah.
So the training was here in Keller, Texas. So it was an in-person training. And I went towards the end of October, training at the end of October. And I didn't really start marketing my business probably till the end of January. So to answer your question, when I did, of course, I'm working 40 hours a week, getting everything set up prior to, but when I started marketing my business, I went full force. I was in my office every single day marketing my business. And quite frankly, I didn't step outside the house to market my business. You don't have to in today's technology world. So I marketed my business 8 hours a day, every single day, because the key to getting clients is get your information out to as many providers as you possibly can. You're going to trip over someone who's going to need your business. You just got to get, I call it the shotgun approach, as opposed to the rifle approach. Blast out your information to as many people as you possibly can. You're going to trip over people who just need you because there's something going wrong with their billing or the revenue generation. They don't know what it is. They have no idea.
No.
So if you get enough of your information out to enough people, you're going to trip across people and they're going to want to see you and talk to you. And that's what I did. And by doing that, I landed my first client in April. I remember I started doing this beginning of February, end of January, beginning of February. I landed my first client in April in the same year. And I landed my second client in July. But the key is getting your foot in the door for the first appointment is good. But, and ABS teaches you this, how you handle those progressive meetings is extremely important. You handle them right, you'll land that client. But you have to kind of what I call follow the yellow brick road, listen to the guidance that ABS has given you, utilize the materials, understand them, get to know them real well, implement it correctly, and you'll bring on clients. I don't want to say very quickly, depends upon how much everyone is getting their information about their business out there. The other thing I forgot to mention in check boxes, folks, there's no lack of opportunities in this business. And just to prove it to you, go on LinkedIn and Google podiatry practice owners in your geographic area and see how many come up. That's just one provider. That's just one medical specialty. Do PCPs, do primary care physicians. You won't be able to get through them all and read all the names. So there's always opportunities out there. You just have to find the people who need your help. They don't all need your help, but you have to find someone who needs your help. And that's why I say blasting your information out there is the best approach, because someone is going to want to talk to you because they're struggling.
Yeah, I was just looking here while you were saying that about the specialties because I have a list here. Let's see if it shows. Yeah. So these are the medical specialties that are out there. Most people don't dream that there's this many different specialties. That's just page one. Here's the second page. And every one of those you can do billing for.
Mhm.
Like you said, some are more profitable than others. Of course, in our training, we try to point out I think we've got about 10 or 12 that we kind of say, here's what you should focus on. You picked a great one because, like you said, podiatrists do a lot of surgeries that are very expensive. And so if they do enough of those, wow, you can bill easily $100,000 a month for a podiatrist even.
Yeah. So just to expand on the question, so beginning of it, I was in it 40 hours a week. I was working hard. I wouldn't have worked more than 40 hours a week, but I was working hard. But once I got my clients and got them all set up and started the billing, um, you'll find that the business becomes very manageable because a lot of the services that we utilize our technology partners for, like coding, for example, I knew one thing for sure: I was not going to be a coder. It's like, Egyptian hieroglyphics to me, right? But I have a great technology partner that knows all about coding and they're experts in it. But they do all the heavy lifting. So you're not doing it. They're doing it on your behalf for your business. You can make some money, with them as your partner, but you're not doing the heavy lifting. So, you know, progressively, once I got my two clients, that's when I started backing in and realized that, I'm up 15, 20 hours a week. And that's all I wanted, folks. That's why I stopped marketing my business, because I got my two providers and I'm happy with them and I'm happy where I am in life, balance wise and income wise. I could have kept going, but I decided not to. So that's progressively how the hours per week worked. In the beginning, it was 40 hours full force because you have to do that from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah, the market is so huge. Like you said, here in the DFW area, there's thousands, literally thousands of medical providers.
Hmm.
You only have two. If you lost one of them, it'd be pretty simple to replace that one that you lose. So all you got to do is just do something. I tell people just do something every day. Activity is where it's at in any
Yeah.
business. The big challenge in any business you start is getting started with clients. How do you
Yeah.
find clients? So how did you find your first client, Jay? How did you run across that guy?
So, for me, it was all through technology and through direct mail. I put together the proper documentation. ABS does provide you a lot of spec sheets on every single service that we offer. Um, and I put together just a 1.5 page document that gave people basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to create the interest and desire for the one to talk to, right? So I wrote that document in a way where they'd be kind of silly if they didn't take the opportunity for us to come and do a practice analysis for free to tell them what they're doing well and where their pain points are. That's a free business consultation, absolutely free,
Yeah.
right? And that's your foot in the door. That's how you get in to see them and talk to them. There's no obligation on their part to do business with you. We're basically going in, and I would tell people, we're going to come in and we're going to do an analysis of your business. And I could turn around and tell you, you guys are in fine shape. You don't need me. Or I could tell you, here's where everything is going well. Here's where you're challenged and why you're being challenged here. And here's how we're going to fix it if you utilize our service, right? So, I mean, you have to go through those processes with your clients. And ABS teaches you how to do all this stuff. So it's important to really know what you're doing when you do it. But I simply got in front of those two clients and went through the whole process. And if you follow the process correctly, you bring them on rather quickly.
Yeah. Here's a question from Jaspreet. Hope I'm saying that right. Jaspreet says, Jay, thanks for being on today and sharing your story. What marketing strategy would you say paid the most dividends for you when you were starting out and even today? Of course, you're not really marketing today. You don't want any more clients,
No.
right?
Well, it's funny. Even though I don't want clients, my clients are referring me to people, and there's times where I'm talking to people, so I'm actually turning some things away. I mean, if it's not a lucrative enough opportunity, I'm really not going to do it. But if it is, then I might think about it. But so I use a two-pronged approach to answer the question. I use LinkedIn. If you're very savvy in LinkedIn, utilizing LinkedIn, you can get your message out directly to the business owners. Here's one of the challenges. I find a lot of people utilize the direct marketing approach, which is most commonly called cold call, right? And it's not something I would say don't do. It's not, wouldn't be my first priority. If you're driving around in your car and you happen to see a prospect out there, keep enough information with you that you can give it to them, but you have to do it the right way. So I use LinkedIn. And just as I suggested to everyone before, or I told everyone before, I started to go after a specific medical specialty, podiatry. And I would search them out on LinkedIn. And if I connect, I would try and connect with them. If I connected with them, then if you know, if people are LinkedIn savvy, know when you connect with someone, more information about those folks open up in their profile. And I would say 98% of the ones that I connected with, they had their personal email addresses. So now I can get my information directly to them without any gatekeepers. So that was one way I did it. The other way was, you know, if you're LinkedIn savvy, you know, if people have less than 250 connections, they don't spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. People who have 500 plus do, right? So the people who didn't spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, I would send a direct mail piece to them. And this is through ABS consultations. I put my materials together in a white envelope. I went to Office Depot. I got a stamp that said private and confidential. I marked that envelope in the name of the practice owner, which you can find in most of their websites because they have an about us type thing. I'll tell you who the practice owner is. So I addressed it directly to the practice owner, care of the name of the practice, and I marked it private and confidential. When you do that, and it comes into the office, none of the front office people open it up. They bring it directly to the doc's desk and put it down. So who do you think is going to look at my information? It's the person making the decisions, the practice owner. So those are the two ways that I blasted my information out every single day. And my first client I got through LinkedIn, connected back. We started talking. We set up an appointment. I went to see him, did a practice analysis, and the rest is history. The other client was through a direct mail piece that I sent directly to them because I knew they weren't savvy in LinkedIn. Part of my piece in the direct mail literature showed my URL for my website. They went on my website and they requested an appointment on my website. I called them, set the appointment, and the rest is history. So one came from direct contact on LinkedIn, and the other one came from a direct mail. And I never left my house marketing for prospects. And that's what I mean about the shotgun approach. You can sit here and if someone told me, yeah, I spent 3 hours and I got to 15 people today, I can get to 15 people in 15 minutes sitting behind my desk and get it right to the actual decision maker, which is the key. You got to bypass all the gatekeepers, all the front office people, even the practice manager. Get it to the person who owns the business. They're the ones who are feeling the pain if they don't think they're making enough money. Sure. So that was my marketing approach.
You know, that's a great story. You're right. You would never have to leave your house with this kind of business. It is a virtual business. We've got the technology to be able to connect with anybody else anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. And that is one of the subjects. Let me see if I can throw this up on the screen while we're talking here. This is a document that we have, what is covered in the Certified Medical Revenue Manager training. And I'll just kind of barely scroll through this because I know you guys are not reading every one of these bullets, but this is just module 1. Jay, when you came, of course, you were in the live training here at a hotel in Dallas. Now we do all this virtually using technology like we're using today, Zoom. And as you can see, there's 10 modules. Each one takes about an hour and a half to get through with a one-on-one with an instructor. I bet it's Cynthia that does most of our instructing. You sat through Cynthia's training, didn't you?
Yeah, she's great. Yep, I did. She still does.
She knows her business.
Yeah, she does.
Well, and she's been in this business herself for, I guess, almost 10 years now. So she's a very, very sharp individual. let's see, I think it's in module 7, maybe, if I remember. Yeah, right here. Using LinkedIn, see, to reach doctors. So we cover all the different ways. There's probably a dozen different ways in these modules that we teach people how to go out and get clients. Some of them would appeal to you. Like you said, Jay, some people go out and just do what we call direct contact. They'll just go to an office building with medical offices, and they'll start on the top floor and just go down, leaving some literature, picking up business cards and so forth, just making some contacts. And every once in a while, you'll just run into somebody who says, yeah, I think we need help. Let me set you up an appointment to see the doctor. So that happens, but it's not for everybody. And so same way with LinkedIn, you've got to be a little bit technologically savvy to know how to use some of the social media stuff that's out there. I don't know all about it, but we use it as a company too. It's just very powerful nowadays. There's no end to what you can do out there, contacting people just direct, like you said, through your computer.
LinkedIn even they offer trainings too for people to educate them how to use LinkedIn, proficiently and effectively. So they want you to.
Yeah.
It's a very easy way to get your information. I think what I always tell people, if you're gonna go cold calling or do direct contact marketing, then use the same approach as if you were going to send a direct mail piece. You can sit right in front of the office and you can look up on your phone who the practice owner is. Keep those envelopes in your car and just mark it out with the practice owner's name, care of the practice, put their address on there and stamp it, which you probably should already do before you get in your car. Private and confidential, walk in, just hand it to the person front desk and say, would you mind if giving this to Dr. Phillips and placing this on his desk? I wanted to drop it off for him. And when they see private and confidential, that's all you need to say. You don't need to talk to him. And it'll get to his desk. People think they have to talk to people at the front desk. No, you don't. Just go drop off something for the doc.
If I were at a front desk of an office and somebody walked in and had an envelope like that, stamped private and confidential, I wouldn't dare open that. I just take it and put it on the doctor's desk. I mean, it could be, you could be a patient that has some very private information you're trying to put in the doctor's hands. Who knows?
Which is why they do exactly that.
Yeah.
Put it on his desk, on his or her desk.
Let's see. Oh boy, now we got a few questions coming in here. Folks, let me remind you, you can use the Q&A button there at the bottom of the Zoom window to type in a question. As you can see, we're answering those live. One of them here is just about how, Anna wants to know, how has the support been since you first became got in this business?
Well, so I'm going to answer that from a number of different ways. So number one is ABS's support was critical when I first started. I think I used to call the support line almost every day just to ask a question. And there's always someone there answering the phone. They're talking to you. So it's great. So ABS's support has been fantastic, but you don't always have to talk on the phone to someone at ABS. There is a learning site that has all kinds of information. So my suggestion to folks is read everything, review everything in there. It's going to teach you some things that you can utilize, and it's going to educate you on this business. So read everything. That's number one. So support from ABS is fantastic. The other good support is from our technology partners. If you have a question, what I used to do is if I had a question about coding or my client asked me a question and I didn't have an answer, of course, I gave the feedback. Let me get with my staff. Let me make sure I've got the right information for you to be able to answer that question. Let me get back to you. And I would call my technology partner and ask them. And their expertise is of the highest level. They'd answer the question and I'd get back to my client. So you've got support from the technology partners. Don't think you have to be an expert on all these things. You don't. You have the experts working with you. They're going to be able to answer all that information. So ABS is fantastic in what they provide support-wise, but it goes farther than that. I didn't call ABS's operations line if I had a coding question or a credentialing question. I called our technology partner, the person I'm working with, right? That they're working on behalf of my business. I would ask them. So depending upon the question would determine who I call. But I, quite frankly, in the beginning, I used to call ABS all the time at the beginning until I realized, well, I got all these other people I can call too. So I started leaving them alone a little bit, stopped bombarding them with all my questions.
Right. Okay, I'm going to throw a picture up here of one of the tools that you probably are referring to when you say you leave something in a white envelope for the doctor. Do you use the books that we have, Jay?
I use the books, but I started sending the books, but then I realized, well, I'm giving them some great information without even seeing it. So I changed my approach and said, when I come to visit you, I'm going to provide you with a book that's going to provide insightful information about how to run your business, so on and so forth. It was all type of wording. And when I came to them, that's when I gave them the book. And I explained to them what the book's all about. So it was like a little bit of benefit or a gift when I came to see them the first time.
Yeah.
Which kind of boosts your credibility even more when you do something like that. Because they're not expecting anything in the beginning from you when they're setting an appointment with you.
Right.
Right. So that was something I brought with me in my first visit. And I told them I was going to do that. You know, my letters or my conversations around.
Yeah, and you can have these books printed with your name on the front cover there as, you know, having written the foreword for like, I don't know, $4 a copy or something ridiculously cheap. It's a paperback book it's on Amazon for $24.95, but we just wanted to put some value on there for doctors who go and look it up there. But you're giving them a $25 gift basically when you walk in and hand them one of those. Yeah.
And it's great information that's in there too. And it resonates with them when they read it. Because both my clients read it and they referred back to it the next time I talked to them.
Really?
Yeah, they did.
You know, I had one licensee I interviewed who said that during the COVID, he didn't want to get out. So what he did is he just mailed 3 copies of these books to 3 different doctors that he wanted to connect with in his community. And he said 2 of them called him up and said, "Hey, I got your book and I think I've got some of the problems that you mentioned here in the book. Can you come talk to me?" I mean, it was a great marketing tool.
Yep, really is.
Now, here's a question from Jess Breed says, do all of your clients have EMRX? If so, what was the biggest selling point for them to switch over? Do either of your doctors?
Yeah. It's a great question. Neither one of them had iClaim or EMRX. They had a different EHR and PM system. And there's a lot of EHR and PM systems out there, as Patrick knows, and a lot of them are very, very similar in their capabilities and offerings, system offerings. What I found the biggest difference was, first of all, I am a huge iClaim and EMRX advocate because I've had a chance to talk with different providers. And through my discussions with them and listening to all their pain points about the systems they were using, there is one inherent difference that I think is larger than anything that they told me about that was consistent with both of them. It was the customer service. So the customer service through iClaim EMRX powered by NextGen is outstanding. You call on a support line, you'll get your answer. Their challenge was when you called, a ticket was created, and in about a week or two, someone got back to you about your challenge, right?
Yeah.
My one provider was using a system called Practice Fusion, and it's a very basic EHR and PM system. So once he saw iClaim EMRX, he was astounded by its capabilities. And they're both podiatrists, but what the abilities that iClaim and EMRX has that they weren't utilizing were pretty extensive, but the capabilities were so vastly different that he realized the ROI is there in terms of improved operating efficiencies by being able to use that type of system versus what he was using. So 2 different situations. One was going to move over to iClaim EMRX and pay more than what he is now. The other one was using a different system and paying a lot more and not getting the same benefits than he would with iClaim and EMRX. So, but I would tell you, The biggest difference I've found in these systems is the customer service. Your clients want to call up and be able to get an answer while they're on the phone
Yeah.
and not have to wait for someone to call them back or for someone to get to that ticket number before they even, are able to help you.
Yeah, that is so frustrating for me too. Support, I think, is where most companies fall down. Once, they may have a great front end sales process, but then once you've bought the product or service, can you get the support that you need? And we've got, with our technology partners, we've got over 100 support people across the country that can help with anything. Yeah. Hey, Jay, it's already the hour's gone. I told you I'd let you go earlier than this, but I appreciate you being on here. Thank you for sharing everything. Anything you want to share with people before we wrap up today?
Yeah, I guess if I was going to give any advice at all, and I do talk to a lot of prospective licensees when they're doing their due diligence calls. Um, the reason that this opportunity is so good, it's different from a franchise opportunity. Franchise opportunities charge a percentage for marketing, percentage of your revenue for marketing, and then a percentage of your sales, right? That they're going to make on a monthly basis. ABS is just charging a licensing fee, and they're still giving you all the support tools, just like a franchise would do, right? But they're not charging you every single month based on what you're making, right? That's one great part of this opportunity. The other part is the people you're working with and what they're providing in terms of materials and guidance and counsel. And it doesn't end. You can be in this business for 10 years. You still might call them up and ask them a question. They're there to help you. So because of those two things, the whole opportunity to me made a lot more sense when I first got into it. And I would say people always ask the question, if you had to do this again, would you make the same decision to go with ABS? I mean, this is like a pat question everybody has all the time. And the answer is yes, I would. Truthfully and honestly, and I'm extremely transparent, honest with every licensee prospect that's out there when they call and talking about it. And the answer is yes.
Yeah, and so folks, you've heard Jay mention that he does talk to people who are doing their due diligence. That means he's on our reference list. I don't know how long you've been on there, Jay, but that means we give out his phone number, his email address, or whatever, however he wants to be contacted, and you can contact him directly and ask him questions. So if you didn't get in your question today, because that hour goes by so fast, then just let the person that invited you to this webinar know that you'd like to speak with Jay, and they'll put you in contact with him. Jay, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, buddy.
Good talking to you again, Patrick.
Yeah, same here.
Best of luck, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
All right, folks, I'm going to tell you how to get involved in the business if you're still interested in moving forward. I know that this is not one of those things you just go and put it on your credit card, because our licensing fee is like a franchise fee. It's about 100 and no, I'm sorry, it's not that much. It's just I started to say $150,000. It's actually about $29,000, and that may sound like a lot. It is a lot of money for a lot of people, but folks, you just go out there and look at the franchises that are available. You'll find very few that have that low an investment actually in them. So, and with that, you get a lot of different stuff here. I was going to ask the question. Oh, somebody said I was about to ask that question. All right, so I'm going to share one other thing with you here, and that is a picture of our support team. This is a team that's actually out in, oh, there it is. Out in California. We actually visited out there, me and some of my staff members. This has been 2 or 3 years ago. And we took this picture of their support team because, as you can see, there are dozens of people there in that room ready to ask questions. This is actually at NextGen there in California. So we've got lots of people to support you. We've got lots of things to share with you. I'm going to share with you next week's webinar. You know, we do these every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. If you want to join next week's, just go back to our website. Up at the top, click on View a Live Webinar, and just sign up for next week's webinar. It's what's included. We're going to go into detail. I mean, really deep dive into what's included for that license fee of $29,000. And you'll see, I think you'll see that it's worth a lot more. We probably should be charging a lot more for it, but that's where it's at right now, at least for now. And by the way, we're the only company that I know of that sells a franchise slash licensing business with an unconditional 30-day money-back guarantee. So ask your rep a little bit more about that. You'll see it's unconditional. It means you can go through our training. You can go to our website. You can find out everything you want about our business. And if you still don't like it after 30 days, just ask for your money back. That's the best we know to do to give people a feel for it, because you can't tell on these webinars, what the business is all alike until you go through that training. And once you go through our virtual training, you'll see it's much bigger an opportunity than you can imagine. You heard Jay say that he's making from 80, depending on the year, I guess, 80 to $150,000 a year with 2 clients. So $29,000 is not a bad investment to make that kind of money, is it? All right, I'll give you the 6 steps you need to take if you want to go forward and move forward with this. Number 1, you need to get our research guide. This is not 100 pages. It's about 65 pages of information that's nowhere on our website. This is proprietary information that we only share with people who are seriously interested. So get back with your ABS rep and ask them for that research guide. There may be a link in the website address when they send you an email. It may be a link in there to get it. Anyway, there's our phone number and our email address, generic one there. If you're not sure who your ABS rep is, just call or email and ask. All right, step number 2 is browse our YouTube channel. I think I got a picture of that here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Yep, there it is, youtube.com/whyabs. Folks, you'll see there's probably 150 different webinars that we've done over the years that we've posted out there. So if we didn't cover what you wish we had covered during this webinar, like how do I get clients, or how much money can I make? Those are all covered in these webinars. Just go browse a little bit out there and you'll find out that there's lots and lots of information there on YouTube. Those are all free to watch, of course. Then we want you to, here's the next step. Ask for that reference list that I told you Jay was on. He just is one of a dozen or so licensees. We rotate through people who say that they'll take some time to talk to people. And then when they get tired of it, we take their name off and put somebody else's on there. But it's their contact information, and you can ask them any question you want, of course, and we don't tell them, what to say or anything else. It's not a sales pitch. It's just one person who went through the same thing you're going through, trying to make that agonizing decision as to whether this is the right business for you or not. And you can ask them anything. Then, if you haven't seen a demo of our webinar, we'll get online with you one-on-one. One of our demo folks will get on there with you and your ABS rep, and basically just show you the system live, so you can see how a cloud-based system works. You can ask all the questions you want, and you'll be blown away, just like most doctors are when they see it. Then ask your ABS rep to send you the purchase agreement. It's only about 4 pages long. They'll also give you some information about funding. And once you've got your funding all put together, just send the agreement and the funding to us, and we'll let you set up your training with your instructor. Yes, we'll get you online with that instructor to go through your schedule and hers or him, and see exactly what times are available to fit your schedule, so that you can get through the training as quickly as you wish. Some people go through 2 or 3 modules a week. Others take 2 months to go through it, because they've got a life, other things to do, which is fine. It's up to you. You can take as long as you want. All right, and so I think I'm just going to leave that slide right there and see if there were some more questions coming in. Here's one from Umoyu from Indiana. Yeah. And then Trudy says, thanks for a good webinar. Received my purchase agreement today. So excited. Trudy, we're excited for you too. I heard that you were asking for that behind the scenes. I hope Joanne got that to you as quick as she could, because we want you to get through your training too as quick as you can. Thanks for joining us today. And folks, we do these webinars again every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. My name is Patrick Phillips. I'm the CEO of CEO. My son's the CEO. I'm the founder of the company. I keep saying CEO because we just turned that over to him last year. But the point is, I don't do anything now. I'm just the founder. Well, I do these webinars, and I talk to licensees, and I interview people, and I also post a lot of stuff and answer questions on our Facebook group that's out there. Okay, it's after the hour, so I'm going to wrap it up for today, folks. Thanks for being with us. I hope you go sign up for next week's webinar. And thanks for being on here today. Bye for now.